Today I'm going to explain to you guys the pitfalls of super direct game, getting too many flaky numbers, and how that can negatively affect not only your results but your mental state. Direct game can be very bad for you. If you are a super good looking guy and you just get results by going direct to the nightclubs, that's fine. But when it comes to day game, even the pretty boys struggle with direct day game, but the vast majority of you guys will not be using direct game and being super good looking to accompany that direct game, and so it's going to negatively affect you. I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to break down a bit of a video here, a little bit of another infield analysis to try to explain my point as someone who's put in the time and effort to understand what is really going on out there. And so let's get into it. But before we kick it off, I'm Dave, and this channel is dedicated to giving you no BS novel dating advice for the modern man. My autobiography is in the description, and if you want some coaching with me, it is the top link in the description. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at this. Now, this is a guy by the name of Craig. He became a coach for Tom Torero. He lived in Sydney, and I have met him. When I first met him, he blew me off because I wasn't good looking enough to hang out with him. That's pretty much what happened. He's a bit of a goofball, a bit of a snob. He's a British guy, and a bit of an elitist, because look at him, he's kind of jacked, he's good looking, he's got the tats, he's got everything going for himself. But while he was in Sydney, he had little to no success. Terrible success. He was doing the London day game model. He was yad stopping all over the place. And after there was actually one interaction with me where I was with another guy as well, and he was just such a prick. He wanted to go up and have a drink, and he wanted to exclude me. He was just a prick. And the funny thing is, a student of mine who I took out on his first day game session and taught him my methodology ended up being this guy's wing. My student, and good friend till today, ended up being his good friend, and the guy that I was teaching ended up with a ton more success than him. He obviously struggled because he was using the wrong strategy in the wrong part of the world. Obviously, you cater the strategy to the person, to the situation, etc. His success rate was very low. He had a blog. The blog was showing little to no success, unless it was just a girl choosing him because of his how attractive he was. We're going to break down quite a few things in this video. Let's have a look at this.
From Los Angeles, we took a long flight down under to the winter sun of Sydney, the Australian mecca for all things day game.
Hyde Park. Now, this is my hometown, and it's funny how it seems like he chose Craig to represent Sydney, even though Craig is British and had little to no success in Sydney. Very funny, very interesting. He rejected a guy by the name of Paul Plough. Paul Plough wanted to be in this documentary really bad, but Tom rejected him. I think Paul Plough he might have had maybe 10 or maybe 20 day game lays at this. Maybe maybe you'll be lucky to have 10 day game lays at this particular this time when this was filmed, but he was rejected. I think Paul Plough would have been a better option to represent Sydney than Craig, to be honest.
Down by the Opera House, I persuaded my travelling partner, wing and fellow coach Craig to tell his story on camera, as it was when living in Sydney previously that he'd mastered the art of the hustle.
Yeah, a lot of guys, they say that they mastered the art in Sydney because they got laid in like once in every 6 months or something. I think Craig got laid once in 2 years. I don't know. Very, very low success rate for Craig. I know that exact spot where they're at, right near Maya, near QVB building. No, Craig did not have any success from what I understood, and I was around at that time. This was probably about 6 years ago, less than that, approximately, something like that.
Hey guys, I'm Craig, I'm 31 and I'm from England, and I've been day gaming for about 5 or 6 years now. I started off day gaming in small cities in England before going down to London, and for the first few years that's where I learnt day game before I moved to this beautiful city of Sydney for a year and a half.
Now this is Pitt Street Mall. This is beginner day game central. This is where all the beginners hang out, and a lot of the chodes that are stuck in intermediate purgatory, they just hang around here yad stopping all day and just looking like idiots.
And here is where I really started racking up the approaches. It's a city of about 4.5 million people, so over the 18 months I lived here I became proficient enough to start teaching day game.
No you didn't, and we're about to get to that in a minute.
Excuse me, sorry. Can I just say something a bit cheeky?
Yeah, sure.
You just walked by me and I thought you looked very nice. I wanted to come and say hello. I noticed your jumper. It reminded me of like a Christmas jumper. So I was about to come and ask you why the hell you're wearing a Christmas jumper in the middle of July.
It's actually not.
So you ran and jumped in front of her to ask her about her jumper? It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. No wonder the guy's not getting any success. It was funny. Like, what the hell is this guy doing? What the hell's going on? Yeah, just running and jumping in front of her at Martin Place. By the looks of things, what is this? Early morning Sunday or Saturday morning? Because there's not many people walking around. No, it doesn't make any sense to do that. And it's not even really the London, apart from the Yad stop. He's got the Yad stop down, but jamming her up against the wall and stopping her. But to go over and ask about the jumper, he didn't even really pay a compliment. I guess that's probably because he did make a lot of approaches in Sydney and got a lot of rejection. My understanding is that Tom Torero has never ever got laid in Sydney. He's been just rejected terribly in Sydney. John Matrix, who was a coach, he said that it's the flakiest city he's ever been to. My understanding is that Dave Diggler, when he came down, he never got laid either. I don't know if Yad has come to Sydney, but my understanding is none of the London day game model guys have ever got laid in Sydney. And it's important to understand that.
I heard this phrase. It's definitely not a Christmas jumper.
It looked like a reindeer from a distance. So before I discovered day game, my way of meeting girls was like many English guys, just getting drunk in bars and clubs, and hookups would be, again, pretty much from girls choosing me, like low-hanging fruit.
Yep, girls choosing him. He's actually pretty tall. He's a good-looking guy. Personally, I think he's a bit of a snob. Once he actually said, he goes, "Oh, why don't you go make an approach and demonstrate to me?" I was like, why do I need to show you how good my approach is? I was like, okay, fuck it. I went over and made an approach, and he used that as an excuse to grab his mates and quickly run upstairs and go get a drink. I was like, you fuck you dickhead. So next time I saw him yad stop a girl, I went and amogged him. And then he found out that I really don't give a fuck.
At the end of the night, I'd be pissed, so I'd be a little bit more confident. And this carried on through my 20s. Mid to late 20s, before I discovered day game in 2011, and I fell in love with the idea of day game because I'm a naturally introverted guy. I didn't want to spend my life in bars and nightclubs, and it seemed like the perfect way to meet people in an environment that wasn't fueled by alcohol. And so yeah, in 2011 I discovered day game, but I didn't do a day game approach probably for a year after that. I spent a year just reading about it from all these different...
Mental masturbation, that's a huge issue. Guys that watch videos, read books, don't take any action, They know everything about it, the ins and outs. They can name people that are coaching. They can name, they probably break down their own infields, but they've never actually done any approaches themselves. My understanding is that Craig used the excuse that he was working and he was busy most of the time in Sydney, and that's why he didn't really get enough done. And when he did get approaches done, they were very direct, yad stopping, running around, doing this really direct stuff that didn't really work. And he was mostly approaching girls that were way beneath his mate value.
Sources. Because I was terrified of it. I was terrified of going up to a stranger and stating my intent. But it was around 2012 where I did my first day game approach in Bristol, England, and I haven't looked back.
I'm pretty sure it's a lion, but good instinct.
A lion?
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, I know. I thought you were going to be European. You had a very European look about you.
No, I'm Aussie.
No, you're an Aussie.
Yeah.
You notice the pattern with a lot of these guys? What they do is it's like, oh, you look European, or they're trying to find out what country they're from. This is there's a sequence of events. Yad stop, depending on their personality, depends on how they flow, but he wanted to comment on something that she's wearing, and then he flows straight into what country is she from. It is literally the most useless logistics line of questioning that they could ever go down. It doesn't help you get a date. You don't really learn anything about her, and if you're in Australia and you look at the map, Australia's all the way down here and there's no Europeans next to it. It's literally where an island in the middle of nowhere, and there's one country above us called Indonesia with 250 million people. If you're in Europe, maybe, okay, what country are you from, because there's so many countries surrounded you, but this line of questioning is evidence of his lack of success, because it doesn't really help him get a date. He doesn't really learn anything about the girl, and it just shows that he doesn't understand the whole purpose of approaching the girl. Really, it's learn a bit about her, figure out what you guys have in common. Try to figure out what time of the week she's available so you can line up a date. If you're not doing any of those real basic things, you're not putting yourself in a position to win. It's like the metaphor of you got to get to the other end of the field and put yourself in a good position to score. You don't try and score in your own 25, do you? Right? Your own 22. You don't try and run it all the way out. You're more likely to get yourself in trouble. Put yourself in a position to score, and then you're more likely to score even if you have bad games. So logistics are very important.
And you're off to work this morning?
No, I'm off to sit an exam for a job.
An exam for a job?
Yeah.
It's good. He got the right logistics. So you're off to work this morning. Very good. So he understands. Okay, she's on her way somewhere. Sorry about that. I just choked on the water. That's good. He got some good logistics for once, and now he has a general understanding as to where she's going right now, which is a good start. But he's repeating what she's saying. You notice that? She says, I'm going for an exam. He says, you're going for an exam. And the reason why he's repeating it is because he's not computing it fast enough. He doesn't know what... He doesn't understand the sequences that he's going down. It's as if he's doing an ad lib. It's like he doesn't understand the sequence. You throw something out, it comes back, and he's not able to react fast enough. So he's just repeating what she says while he tries to figure out what he's going to say next.
Oh my god, that's why you look so focused.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're like storming down here.
I think that's probably my general look when I'm walking though.
So yeah, when I first discovered Daygame, I thought, oh my god, this is like this is a hack. This is a really easy way. I don't have to go to nightclubs. I don't have to compete with groups of people. And it wasn't until I started doing Daygame that I realised that it's actually really difficult.
And the reason why he learnt that is because he was doing it in Sydney, one of the toughest places in the world to do Daygame. If you can do it here, you can do it anywhere. And Craig failed in Sydney. I know that.
Mentally and emotionally, it is a draining activity, and I have this
It's only mentally and emotionally draining if you're using the wrong method. There's a reason why I was day gaming before Craig came on the scene, and there's a reason why after many years after Craig has left, failed as a coach, and disappeared to do some sort of photography or whatever the hell he's doing right now, I'm still doing day game. Longevity is evidence of skill. That's the best evidence of skill. Not being a 31-year-old pretty boy doing a few direct day game approaches and maybe getting a little bit of random success because they choose you and you're getting girls beneath your mate value.
Funny pain story. It was 4 or 5 months into my day game journey. I had mastered the basics of day game and I thought, oh my god, I can just travel around the world now and pick up girls wherever I want. So I booked a trip to Europe.
He's a good-looking guy, isn't he, guys? Come on, what do you rate him? He's got to be an 8. Or let's just say conservative, he's a 7. He's got to be what, 6 foot, 6'1" tall. He's kind of jacked. He's got like the chest. He's got the tats. He's a good-looking guy. He should, with proper day game approaches, be getting 8s and 9s. There's some food for thought.
Well, my plan was to go from city to city, day gaming, picking up girls. I didn't quite go to plan. I was in Serbia, Belgrade, on the second city, and the weasels kick in a hell of a lot more when you're on your own in a foreign city and you don't have your creature comforts of home with you. And I remember that first day in Belgrade. It's a difficult place to game. Girls weren't I wasn't as shiny as I thought I was going to be out there. Girls didn't just want to hook up with me because I was English.
That's key. A lot of the direct guys, they are getting success because they're carrying that British passport, and in the other wallet, they've got a lot of British pounds. That's why they're getting laid. It is not because of their game. They're getting laid despite their game. And if you're as good looking as him, you're a good looking guy that's tall, relatively good looking, you've got yourself a British passport and you're carrying pounds, all you need to do is not fuck it up, really. You just don't fuck it up. Present yourself to girls that are on your level and just take it easy. It's going to work out when you've got such high status. But let's see the cautionary tale of too much direct day game.
And I spent the first day just getting battered, rejected. And I went back to my hostel room that night and I had a mental breakdown. I had a nervous breakdown. I had a full-blown panic attack. I phoned my dad, booked a flight back to England, and I had to sleep in the airport that night because the flight wasn't until the next day. And it was probably one of the scariest moments of my day game career.
It was scary, was it? You got a bit of rejection, you had a bit of a cry and had to go back to daddy. This is bad day game, bad mentality. He obviously doesn't enjoy it. He said that previously. He just said it. He said, look, it's hard to do day game. Day game's not hard. Day game is fun. And if you do it right and you have real simple strategies catered to you in your whatever city you're in, whatever demographic you are, socioeconomic status, how tall you are, what race, what demographic, all these other factors, personality, outgoing, etc. The methodology, if you break it down correctly, you should get success, unless you're really unattractive, right? But if you're this guy, the thing that's going wrong is his strategy. His game is going wrong. And as Tom Torero said, this is a wing of Tom Torero's. This is his wing. What does that say about Tom Torero's game?
But I came through it and I'm here today. I'm just wandering around in like a jet-lagged haze.
Have you just arrived?
Yeah, a couple of days. Well, I used to live here and now I'm just travelling through, visiting friends.
You're from the UK?
Yeah. Can you tell? Yeah. So we call this the secret society or the hustle because 99% of guys believe that to sleep with a girl or for a girl to sleep with them, they have to be in a relationship. They have to be going on 2, 3, 4, 5 dates. But really, women are doing all this crazy.
The reason why he's thinking so much is because he wasn't really getting too much success anyway. But I just wanted to show you guys that particular bit where he had a breakdown. He had to go back to his dad because he was getting too much rejection, and that's partially from running and jumping in front of people, blowing out the area, burning down the area. Everyone looks at you and realizes, hey, what's that guy doing? And then next time they see you walking by, where's the bald guy with the aviators? He's doing it again. And then if another girl sees you do it and then you go and try and approach her, you've already burnt that bridge as well because she saw you do it to another girl. It's not covert, indirect game. It's not very smooth. And when you do this, you show that you are not very socially aware. And then when you pay them a compliment by yad stopping and saying, hey, I think you're really pretty, blah, 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 you're putting them on a pedestal. And then when you don't really listen to them and you don't have proper logistics, then obviously the dates are going to fail. And when you're very demanding with the numbers, you're getting a lot of flaky numbers. What they're doing wrong is they're not reverse engineering everything that goes wrong and trying to figure out what part of the structure is going wrong and negatively affecting my results, because that's the ultimate goal here, is that I'm attracted to this girl that's walking by over here, and I would like to get to know her, and I would also like to get to know her, and if she's kind of cool, which I think she kind of is pretty cool, I could be wrong, if she's crazy, obviously I'll eject, but if I go over there I realize she's pretty cool, I would like to be able to take her on a date. And if she's cool and I like her and I take her out on a date, I would like to be able to sleep with her. And that all starts with the very first way, strategy that you use to cold approach. And if your mentality is whack from the very beginning, and you don't get the logistics right, you're putting them on a pedestal, you're getting a lot of flaky numbers, it's like death by 1,000 cuts. Every time you get rejected, it's like you die a little bit inside, because all the girls that you are attracted to, you get a little bit attached to them and it hurts. And over time, you get to a point where you start to get a little bit depressed and you go, look, I can't do this anymore. I need to take 6 months off game or whatever, or I haven't approached in a month or whatever, because it just becomes too much pain to approach. It becomes a job. You don't enjoy it anymore. You hate what you're doing. You get a bit depressed, etc. It negatively affects everything in your life, and you realize that it just doesn't work. And instead of reverse engineering everything, because you have gurus giving you bad advice and trying to figure out where you actually went wrong, which is what I teach, which is obviously proper analysis, innovate, come up with novel ways to solve your dating problems. And it's different for everybody. There's no cutout copy for everybody, and this is why direct day game causes a lot of problems for a lot of guys. And if you scale it up and you have guys yad stopping, as soon as you open your front door on George Street in London, you come out and you're like, whoa, yad stop. This guy's jumping everywhere in front of girls. It just causes a lot of problems for society as well, and it's not very cool, is it? And this is a cautionary tale of someone who has had a lot of rejection, got depressed because they realized that their strategy wasn't catered to them in their particular city and where they were traveling, etc. All these other problems. But that's just the cautionary tale about direct game that I wanted to put out there. But if you guys like this video, click the subscribe button. I'm going to break down some more infields in the future. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments. My autobiography, if you want to know, you want to hear some brutal story, and getting rejected by a few girls is a bit of a little bitch move as far as I'm concerned, read my book. This is the most brutal shit you've ever read in your life. You want some coaching with someone who's dealt with adversity, top link in the description for some coaching with me. And I'll see you guys. Make sure you click the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.